being called a Russian pawn and being called by the leading candidate of the Democratic Party a facilitator of Russian disinformation is an extraordinarily damaging thing. It may be that a lot of people don't believe him, but a lot of people do believe him. Go look at the public opinion polls. So those people believed that I was working with Putin. That is 100%, 1,000% untrue. Not only that, it's been proven untrue.
Tell me you're desperate for money without telling me you're desperate for money. So Rudy Giuliani is now suing Joe Biden, accusing him of defaming him 3 years ago. It's this new lawsuit filed by Giuliani's lawyers. They're contending that Biden defamed Giuliani twice during a televised presidential debate with Donald Trump in 2020. So let's talk about what they're alleging. The lawsuit alleges that at 2 points during the debate, Biden falsely accused Giuliani of being a, quote, Russian pawn and dismissed Giuliani's criticism of his son Hunter's laptop, claiming that the ex-mayor believed a bunch of garbage. Now, during the debate, Biden said Russia was feeding Giuliani false information to help Trump's chances of getting elected president, something that had been reported, something that Trump himself had been warned about at the time. But just to read the quotes, specifically what Joe Biden said was, they're interfering with American sovereignty. That's what's going on right now. They're interfering with American sovereignty. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think the president said anything to Russian President Vladimir Putin about it. He continued on. His own national security advisor told him what is happening with his buddy. Well, I shouldn't. Well, I will. His buddy, Rudy Giuliani, is being used as a Russian pawn. He's being fed information that is Russian, that is not true. And then what happens? Nothing happens. And then you find out that everything is going on here about Russia is wanting to make sure that I do not get elected the next president. So a little bit more about this lawsuit. What they're alleging says defendant Biden knew that the preceding statement about the laptop and asserting that the plaintiff lied about the content of the laptop were untrue, while also charging that now Secretary of State Antony Blinken had sought to discredit Giuliani regarding Hunter Biden's laptop. Now, in the lawsuit, it goes into the perceived damages Rudy has suffered for the statement made 3 years ago. But here, let's have Rudy tell it to you himself.
His lies cost me a good deal of my law practice. It cost me directly a good deal of my million-person audience on Common Sense, where I was cut off by YouTube, which operates as a co-conspirator in another conspiracy of Biden's, which is to suppress free speech. It cost me clients in my consulting business. I haven't calculated the amounts. We can do that later, but it's in the millions and billions of dollars.
Oh, this man is so desperate for money. And it's so reflective of the Trump defense. Nothing that has the consequences that I'm having to stare in the face right now, none of that could possibly be because of the things I did. It's got to be someone else's problem. And this time that someone is Joe Biden. I mean, it's ridiculous. We all know it's ridiculous, but to see how far this man has fallen, it would be sad if he wasn't such a piece of garbage.
Yeah, it's called when the chickens come home to roost. I'm on my Malcolm X today. All of that stop and frisk, all of the terror on Black and brown men in the state of New York, all of the racist, policies that were in place as a result of this man. This is karma. And the thing is that what's caused him all these dollars is his loss of credibility and respect on the trail and the heels of Donald Trump, the hair dye, the flatulence video, like all of that stuff. There's no respect anymore. No church in the wild, according to, as Ye would say. It is unbelievably ridiculous how far he's fallen as a result of being negotiable and not having any decency. And now here you are begging people for money, looking like a fool. You think you've lost your business and your dollars because of being called the Russian pawn? You were called the Russian pawn by many for a very long time. You lost your you lost your credibility because you were running around looking like a fool behind Donald Trump because you were chasing them dollars. And now you out here, as the kids would say, out here trying to, with this ridiculous lawsuit. This is not even in defense of Joe Biden, because I don't care about either one of these political parties. I care about the American people and the policies. This is just straight foolishness. And the fact that he gets airtime is what burns me the most, because that is the airtime that could be used for things that are very important. As we talked about, these people who have been missing, who are missing that we don't know where they are. They talking to Rudy Giuliani about his little foolish lawsuit because somebody called him a name, and there are real things happening in America that should be getting coverage that don't, because the news has turned into reality shows.
Yeah, and it definitely helped inspired when some American people allowed in our political system that is inherently undemocratic, allowed a literal game show host to become the president. And as you said, there's no church in the wild. There's also no honor amongst thieves, because why does Rudy have to do this? Because he gave his entire life to Donald Trump, and is Donald Trump got his back now? No, he doesn't. Is he helping to pay for his defense in these lawsuits and these indictments? No, he isn't. He held one candlelight dinner for donors to raise money for Rudy Giuliani that was not advertised at all and did not make him very much money. But speaking of Rudy Giuliani, the other thing that he needed people to know was that he denies the allegations that he has a drinking problem. He said Giuliani's drinking, long a fraught subject, has Trump prosecutors' attention. So let's hear what he says first and then go into the allegations. Now, notice how his attorney on the left is desperate to end the press conference.
It's a typical New York Times malicious lie. I do not have an alcohol problem. I have never had an alcohol problem. And the reason I told you what I achieved is nobody could have achieved that if they did. When the hell was I drinking? I was working 24 hours a day. It's a big damn lie by a newspaper that's a disgrace, and by a reporter who covered me, used to cover me very, very, in a very glowing way, and now is vicious and mean in what she does.
Thank you.
And it's my press conference. Vicious and mean. And if it weren't for the protections that the press gets with Times Against Sullivan, I mean, she should be sued for libel. She should also be thrown out of the profession for being a damn liar. But that's okay.
He was working for 24 hours a day. When did he have time to drink? Apparently, according to all accounts, during those 24 hours of the day. I mean, we don't have to get into the specific allegations because Rudy Giuliani's alcoholism is a long documented thing throughout so much of his time as a prosecutor, as mayor, as Trump's attorney. And it is just so funny to see him squealing like this when he knows that he's getting all this negative press.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.